Hey guys, how are you doing today? Just going ahead and posting to all the profiles, waiting for a few more people to show up. I see that there are 2 people here. Hello. Keep in mind that you guys do need a YouTube channel in order to chat on YouTube. It's totally free to create one. No pressure, you don't have to start streaming or create your own videos or anything. In order to create an account with YouTube, it's super easy, especially if you use Gmail. We're going live in exactly 1 minute. See you guys soon. All right, you guys ready to get started? Okay. Hey, what's up? Hello, world. My name is Dina Marie Rodriguez, and I'm a full-time hand lettering artist, teacher, blogger, vlogger, writer, helper of people. Hi. You're catching Pajama Dina right now in action. No makeup, no hair, don't give a shit. What up? I was like, I'm feeling kind of bored and antsy, especially after the holiday yesterday. I keep telling myself, Dina, take a break. You don't need to draw every day. You don't need to do admin. You don't need to respond to emails. You don't have to send quotes. Even though the majority of the people out there are taking today off. But I don't know. I think there's something that kind of happens to you when you're an artist where you just, I don't know, you feel like compelled to draw. Like that's something that happens to me a lot. Like I'll try to take a break and watch TV or get coffee with a friend, but always in the back of my head, I have that want of, I wish that I was drawing right now. I wish, even if it's something that I can't sell and it's something I just make for myself, just for my own shits and giggles, it just makes me happy. And I have to, it's really hard to be able to draw that line of, is working too hard going to hurt me, or is it going to continue my own happiness? I don't know. Pensive thought for you, I guess. But welcome to my live stream. We try to do these at least once, twice a month. That's free to the public. If you guys would like to catch every single one of my live streams ever, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/lettershop. How are you guys doing? Office reorganized? Yes, it is reorganized. I completely changed up my office recently. You can probably tell. I have two desks. This is my drawing desk over here, and this is my main computer desk. I bought this crazy shelving unit at IKEA last weekend, and my beautiful boyfriend built it, and it took him all fucking day. And it's one of those like cubes, like kind of like the cubby situation where you can like put custom drawers and baskets and stuff in it, which has been like super helpful because this upcoming year I'm planning on really pushing my products, and if you're gonna be selling your own products, you need room to put those products, right? Arandi, what's up, dude? I don't know how to say your name. E. Randy. Can I call you RO just for short because it's easier? What's up, RO? How are you doing? Hi. Yeah, what's going on? All right, so let me show you what I'm working with. I need more screens, my friends. I need more screens. Okay, so this is, let me show you the very beginning of this piece. I like the lasso tool a lot. Okay, so let me go over a little bit about my process, and then you guys can kind of hang out with me as I work on this sticker design. So let me get into why did I make this sticker design? Why did I make this illustration in the first place? Well, originally, like right now I'm in this process of like visiting old artwork that I've done and then recreating them to match my current aesthetic. And I'm trying to like stop being afraid of color and stop doing things just in black and white, and just really trying to narrow down my skill set and style so it could be a recognizable letter shop piece when you see something on Instagram. This was originally supposed to be an enamel pen, and I decided, nah, fuck it, I want to make a sticker instead because enamel pens are more expensive, just saying. So Meh Vibes, even though you might have seen other things that say this, the reason I'm making this is to make you feel aware, to beware of Meh Vibes. I think there's too many times in our lives where we just continually are just like, oh yeah, I don't really want to be doing what I'm doing right now, but I'm just gonna settle. No, settling is bad. To a certain extent, compromise is a bad thing. We compromise ourselves out of the jobs that we want, out of the people we want to be with, out of the shows we watch, out of the clothes we want to wear, the ways that we want to present ourselves, the ways that we talk. And we have to be afraid of content. You can't just be content in this life. You have to be happy. What is the point? Depending on what you believe, maybe this is our only shot at living and we need to make the best of it. And I know that's easy to say and that might sound a little cliche or too motivational, but every single day I run into people who aren't happy, even those people that are doing what they think that they love, but they're still compromising it. If you want to be an illustrator and you're currently a designer, start illustrating. If you feel pigeonholed in what you're illustrating or what you're designing right now, but you really want to switch up your niche, do it. Stop thinking about it and just pick up the pencil or the computer or whatever your material or device of choice is and start making it happen for yourself. Because that's the only way to move forward. So that's pretty much what this piece means, to me at least. And you'll notice a lot of the pieces that I make for lettershop.com are all like reminders for myself. So it's like, if this is something that I'm personally having a really hard time with, it's probably something that tons of you guys are having an issue with too. Ooh, I need to get back to IKEA for my desk. Looks good. Thanks, Nicole. I appreciate it. Okay, so when doing script, this is something that I teach a lot on patreon.com/lettershop if you become a patron of Lettering Adventures, where you guys can learn one new vintage style of lettering every single month. That also includes video tutorials, live streams like these, one-on-one personalized critique coaching, so I can give you notes on your work, and even offering a mastermind group where a bunch of us meet every single week to talk about our goals and our struggles and just be able to feel like we're less alone in this world. So when I created this piece, I started out with doing the skeleton. Now, you notice that a lot of these letters are cut out. I work digitally, so I like to use something called AstroPad. It's an app, I think it's about $20, and I'm able to connect my iPad to my computer with Photoshop, so it works exactly like a Cintiq, which is fucking awesome. So I went ahead, drew this out just really quick, like a mono weight, just trying to understand the style of this and really trying to figure out how to like create custom swashes and filigree and ligatures to try to make this piece more interesting. So you'll see then, so I go ahead and I started out, like look at the difference between that and this. So there's just a normal M, I have this E, and I went ahead and just drew the H normal, and then I went ahead and saw all the different negative pockets of space that were left in my piece. So the most common pocket of negative space, especially for script, is always going to be in between the two words, especially if you're stacking them. So you have to think about different ways that you can include a filigree or ligature in order to fill that space so you don't have any weird eyesores. And doing these kind of extensions of the stem, like of the H, or the extension of the swash from the V. This really what makes lettering look customized. This is what pulls it away from typography and font choices and makes it look more handmade, and therefore has a better aesthetic. And it's very easily pleasing to the eye, because anytime we see something with that human touch, where we can tell another person made it and not a computer, we feel like we can relate to more of that design. So not only did I just try the first thing that went into my head, I tried a couple different options. And so I was like, okay, what if I add this curlicue off the left side of the M? If I extend this right part of the M, I can kind of create this kind of illusion where the letters are kind of hugging into each other, almost like they're high-fiving, and creating a ligature off of the B. Now notice what I'm doing here is right above this I. Oh, my Apple Watch is gonna die soon. Right above my I, which is the tittle, that little dot that goes above the I. It's a funny name. I love it. Probably my favorite terminology for typography. I'm using this ligature off the B as the tittle of the I. This is common practice among lettering. So if you're able to find an extension that you can kind of pull over to create the illusion of a tittle or the dot of the I definitely recommend doing it. So I had this originally, but I thought a lot of things weren't working. So only once I had my skeleton in place, right? I went ahead and I figured out my ligatures. Then I went ahead and I added weight. Now, I went ahead and I just opened up this file. It was originally like this, where everything was pieced together. And then just using the lasso tool and cutting out things and nudging them, I found a couple inconsistencies. So this is something you're probably going to be like, Dina, how the fuck do you see that? You're so nitpicky with your lettering. It's just practice. Even when I'm teaching college at the Pacific Northwest College of Arts here in Portland, and I tell my students that I can see something is 5 or 10 pixels off, they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. And this is just something that a trained eye that you're just gonna get over time. So for example, this ligature off this H, it's almost, do you see how it's almost in the center of these two pockets of negative space? But there's obviously much more negative space here than there is here. So I went ahead, I lasso tooled out that ligature and lowered it just a smidge. Same thing with this ligature coming off of the B. There's more space here than there is here. So I went ahead and I cut it out and moved it. Same thing with this stem coming off the V. There's a bigger pocket of space right here than there is here. So just seeing all of those little nitpicky things and then changing them. Now this is much harder to do, obviously, if you do not have a tablet and you're having to draw your lettering traditionally. But luckily, there are tools that can help you. So before I had my amazing, beautiful iPad that I love so fucking much, I was just like you, and I would have to either A, use tracing paper, because you should be redrawing your words at least 5 or 6 times. I always think a minimum of 10 is amazing, so definitely recycle your paper, because you're gonna murder a hell of a lot of trees. So using tracing paper is a good option, or using something that's called a light pad. This is amazing. You could just use normal printer paper. It just trace over your designs over and over and over again until it's starting to look exactly the way it should. Now, maybe you don't have an iPad, but you do have something like a Wacom and Studious, where I feel your heartache. I know it's very hard to draw on this and then look at this. It's very disorienting. It takes a lot of people a lot of time to get used to it. I personally never got fully over it, but if you're using that for your lettering, I would recommend saving that for the very end when you're doing the final details, which is what I'm going to be working on right now. Okay, so notice that a bunch of things moved because there was a few areas. Went ahead, all those little things that weren't centered, fix them. This V, oh, I think I collapsed it all. So it isn't perfectly centered in that pocket of negative space using the lasso tool. I'm a big fan of keyboard shortcuts. You hit L for the lasso tool, hit V for select, and I'm just gonna rotate this guy a little bit more. So he's directly in the middle of that pocket of space. You can see that I cut out, I'm like burp hiccuping. I don't know what's happening with my body. This ligature of the B I'm just gonna have to completely redo. And I moved over this H because my kerning wasn't even. Originally this H was closer, and this pocket of space was way smaller than this pocket of space. So when you're looking about how to make your lettering look more consistent, you have to look at a bunch of different factors. You have to look at the weight. Are all of your thins the same amount of thin? All of your thicks the same amount of thick? Oh, is all of your pockets of negative space, not just the kerning, but the space around your ligatures, are they balanced? Are they looking even? It can really help. What's up, Sandra? Hi, best greetings from Vienna. What's up? How are you? Nicole, I don't do that with my CSS for sites I build. you do that with your CSS sites? I see. Yeah, when you can tell that like something's a few pixels off. I recently just had my first part of this class I'm teaching called Advanced Illustration, where the students are creating their own portfolio books. So they're actually printing their own books using Blurb, is what I've been using for all of my printed zines back when we had printed zines, workbooks for lettering. And they're all illustrators, so they don't really have a lot of experience with InDesign and Illustrator, and they don't understand the grid. They don't understand the power of negative space, visual hierarchy within typography, all these things. So just trying to teach that all to them was definitely a challenge that I super enjoyed. And yesterday we had our final critique where I'm just like being super nitpicky, like, oh, the space between your heading and your body copy is inconsistent, and all those things. Kills me. What's up, Holly? How are you, baby girl? Missed you last week. All right, so now that I have my blueprint kind of figured out, I'm gonna go ahead and create a new layer. I wish I should have got coffee before this live stream. I'll probably grab some in a little bit. Grab my handy dandy iPad Pro and Apple Pencil. I have it actually connected within Astropad just because it works better. Even though it can connect over Wi-Fi, it's super nice just to like prevent the lag. And I have kind of a sweet desk situation right now where I have a standing desk that I rarely use, but it's got these levels. So I can go ahead and put my tablet on one level and my keyboard on another. It's super nice. Okay, so let's use Astropad. So anytime throughout this process, I'm really just going to be telling you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And then, of course, if you have any questions or if you just want to hang, feel free. And again, don't forget, in order to chat, you do need to create a YouTube account. It's super easy and free. If you create a YouTube channel, you by no means need to create your own videos or stream. Just create an account. It should only take about a minute or two, and then you can come in and hang and talk with us in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to turn this guy down, and I'm actually going to redraw this entire thing. Even though I've already redrawn it like a few times, I still want to redraw it one more time. Because I think I want to make this lettering style a little bit more lazy looking, and I actually want to add drips to meh, just to really kind of evoke that feeling of just like dread and like how do you visualize a sigh, right? Or when you're feeling so lazy you just like melt into your couch. Like that's the kind of like feeling I want to kind of evoke with the word meh. All right, let's get in here. Let's get into it. Let's see how nice my computer will be to me. When I stream, it tends to lag a smidge. All right, so I like to use, should we just go for it? Should we just go for inking? Should we do it? Should we do it? Yeah, let's go for inking. Let's just go for it. Normally I would still work in the sketch phase, but I'm feeling adventurous. So all these brushes are all the brushes that I use normally. It's from the lettering toolkit off of, I think you can get it off Creative Market by Retro Supply Co. Shauna Pinchezin made these brushes. Super awesome lettering artist that I admire in Orlando. All right. So you'll notice that the brush that I'm using, it's kind of a little rugged. My boyfriend the other day walked in on me drawing and he was like, "What's wrong with your brush?" Like, it looks so pixelized. I'm like, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to like look like a Micron pen. Like that's literally what it's called, is Micron. All right, so let's lower down this brush. Actually, I'm gonna make it pretty thick. So I want meh. Actually, another thing that I want to do is go ahead and set up some guides. This is something I see that like a lot of people not do, where you mark the width of your piece and try to make it consistent. Right now, meh is wider than vibes, and vibes is centered within meh. What's the brush name? This is just called Micron 0.5. It's called like the lettering toolkit. It's at Creative Market, or if you just check out Retro Supply Co. on Creative Market, you'll find like a bunch of really amazing brushes. What up, Dina? Long time no see. What's up, Tico? How are you? It has been a while. All of my like Twitch people are like, "Why are you not on Twitch anymore?" I'm like, I don't like my brain being diluted by gamers. It's hard to be noticed, and at least on YouTube, I can get some help with SEO, which is nice because Google is a powerhouse. You already had their brushes, and I love them, but so many choices. I know, right? It's crazy. I use some of their brushes in Procreate too. Ooh, yeah. I haven't gotten too experimental with Procreate's brushes yet. I'm still just trying to get comfortable in Procreate because it's still a learning process. Like every time I learn something and I'll use it over and over again in the project, the next project I do, I like pull up, I forget how to do the thing and I have to look it up. It's like an endless cycle. Meh Twitch, exactly. Meh vibes for Twitch. Sorry Twitch, love you. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna redo the skeleton. Because I think I want to play with a couple of different styles for script, because right now we're kind of using a little bit more of a feminine kind of style, and I don't know, maybe I want to use mono-weight, I'm not sure yet. Do you guys like my chill vibes right now? I figured we'd play some pretty chill music while we're working on something called Meh Vibes. I think I want to go ahead. Now these are like all the things I'm seeing. I feel like because I changed this to mono weight, this E actually needs to be lower. And my favorite, there's a big difference between the aesthetic of doing this for an H and then going a little bit lower and going like this for an H. This is pretty common when you're doing something that's called brush script or sign painter script. Everything just has a little bit more of a dynamic vibe to it. So it's something to keep in mind. Also, when you're drawing a lowercase e, for example, in script, a lot of people get in the habit of doing this. Now, see how that E looks just like an I? So the key is, if I was drawing this in cursive, you go up, you stop, then you curl it in, and then you draw the E. Then it actually looks more like an E and not like an I. This is something that I see, like, even people who've been lettering for like 6 years or 10 years, I'm like, ooh, your E's look like I's. It drives me nuts. So that's usually why people have issues. Now, I'm super zoomed in, so it's kind of hard to get like a nice even curl. I'm going to be smart here and actually start to put things on their own layers. So I went ahead, drew the letter. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the swash. There we go. New layer for vibes. Now, when I'm drawing, you'll notice that I'm always trying to draw towards myself. When you pull away from yourself, you actually have less control over what you're drawing, but if you pull towards yourself, especially like things like circles, the letter S, the letter O, anything that's got like a bowl to it, it's gonna be so hard just doing this. You wanna be able to do this. Or even like you pull the O towards yourself, turn your paper, and then pull it towards yourself again. It will look better, I promise. So this eye looks a little weird to me, so I'm actually gonna go like this. So it's a little bit more of a dynamic curve versus this kind of wider bowl that I originally had. Gonna go ahead and redraw the stem of the B, because this eye and these two stems, even though this one's curved and this one's straight, it should be looking like they're going more or less the same direction. So this one should actually be more at a diagonal like that. Yeah. Now I'm looking at weight because I feel like my B is a little bit too condensed. And so I'm gonna widen it just a little bit. And then connect the E. Let's go ahead and add some guides here for the bottom of our letters. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, especially once we add weight, but... Ooh, I think I just did something by accident that I want to recreate. Would that read weird? Yeah, it probably would. Never mind. My brain kind of got excited about this little lick. I was like, wait, this means something. Do you like using the iPad slash AstroPad versus Cintiq? I finally took down my Cintiq. Took so much space. I've never actually had the opportunity to use a Cintiq. Actually, except for like maybe a couple minutes when I Wacom is one of my sponsors, and so we do a lot of events and stuff at the Wacom Experience Center, which they just moved their headquarters from Seattle to downtown Portland, actually really close to the school I teach at. We always laugh because when I like give talks and stuff, like they obviously want me to promote Wacom products, but I'm always like, they're like, what do you use? I'm like, an iPad Pro and Apple Pencil. I actually think you really should use an iPad more so than a Cintiq, because think of it like this. Like, this is how I break it down. Are you ready? I don't need this to be full screen, but I feel like it's important enough. You need to look at my face. All right, so think of it like this. You could either A, buy a Cintiq that does one thing very well, or you could buy an iPad that's also a computer that also draws well, that also has all the apps that you use, and also has a bigger screen than your phone. So it's like, ooh, is a Wacom Cintiq probably better than an iPad? Probably, but nothing to a point where I've noticed it in terms of like lag and stuff. So that's what I think. Sorry, Wacom, love you. And I'm actually like pretty disappointed in like just Apple products in general lately. I mean, I think we all have. Like me and Rick, my boyfriend, last night spent way too much time investigating other phone options. But then I realized if I got rid of my iPhone, then my Apple Watch would just not work anymore. And I like my Apple Watch. I'm just like, I'm stuck. Apple, you got me, and I can't leave. You've stolen my availability to switch to PC, and I don't appreciate it. Yeah, it's more convenient for sure. Yeah, you worked with them years ago when they were into Scrapbook World. Oh, cool. I'm solely iPad Pro these days, but I use my old Wacom and Studios to Vector. Oh, you do? To Vector, really? Why is that? I'm curious. Ooh, see? I just found another opportunity to make this piece look a little bit cooler. Having this kind of lick fill up that space. And then creating this B is going to be weird. So I could do a few things. I could go ahead and I could take this V and I could have it go like that and maybe have it wrap around the B, but then I have this weird space here. So that's not going to work. My only like hesitation with this particular swash is I feel like it makes it look like not like a B. Old habit, yeah. We were so into those Apple products. Well, it was like when I went to Full Sail University, they give you like an app, a MacBook Pro when you go to that school. I mean, they charge you for it, but it's like within your tuition and your book supplies and stuff. So like, I was like in Apple, and that's when Apple was like at its peak. They were fucking killing it, and then a certain someone died, and then a certain someone took over, and then it's just been kind of like, pew, since then. I actually don't think Apple's gonna make it. I think they're going to turn into like just a phone company. If they're smart, because like they just feel, it just feels like they care more about money than users. I mean, just look at the giant recall from the new iPhone X that just keeps breaking. Like, you guys didn't fucking test this shit before you released it? Come on! You don't use a mouse at all. What? That's crazy. I was totally about to get in a couple hours of games, and now all I want to do is finish my lettering pieces. Do it, Nico. Letter with me, baby. Letter with me. Alright, let's get rid of this extra stem, dude. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off my blueprint and just check out my beautiful letters. So let's try to... okay, so let's try to think about... I think I just like put a bunch of smudges on my glasses from just rubbing my face in a chaotic way. Sometimes I actually like to take my glasses off while I work because everything gets blurry. And it's like a new perspective. I don't know, I like it. It's like the same thing as like turning your computer or your, your paper or whatever you're working on upside down. I have too many cranial accessories. Okay. Could I be using Apple headphones? Yes, but I really, really like my old school 20-year-old headphones that my boyfriend gave me. They're so comfortable. All right, so one thing I want to do. So now I'm just going to focus on the skeleton for a second before I add weight, I think. I'm going to put this away over here, grab my keyboard, check this fucker out. especially like when you're dealing with a composition that's very simple. Like I'm not going to be adding additional like filigree or spot illustrations or anything like that. So because there's less things in the artboard to distract your eye, you really have to make sure everything looks good. So let's make sure everything looks good. All right, do my E's look the same? So they look pretty similar, so I don't have to worry about that. Sometimes if one of my E looks just like shittier than the other one, it's the same thing if you have like repeated vowels or repeated letter in your phrase. There's nothing wrong with like duplicating it and then redrawing it. You can cheat. That's what digital is for. It's for cheating. You were totally about, okay. You agree, 100. Kind of sad about it. Oh, don't be sad, Nicole. I'm a sucker. Let me get a new charger. Oh, what are these new MacBooks? Buys. Yeah, sucker, that's me. Aw. Yeah, dude. Okay, ready? iPhone, Apple Watch, iPad. I have several Mac laptops, and then I have an iMac. And I even have an Apple router. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, Apple, I can't escape from you. And like, I feel like before I had such like a cult following for Apple, and now I'm just like, it's like, yeah, I have Apple. It's kind of like how you feel when you find out that your mother-in-law just sucks as a person, and you're like, oh, I'm stuck with you. Cool. So yeah, Apple is like the mother-in-law you never wanted. But I'm engaged, and my mother-in-law soon-to-be is a really beautiful person, so yay! I look down on that end. Okay, so one thing I really like is the symmetricalness. That's a word. It's a word. It's like there's a swirl here, and then there's a swirl here. So when something like that happens, something I like to do is make them a little bit more exact. So I'm actually going to hit, instead of cut, I'm going to hit copy. Let's mirror this fucker. Boop. And then edit. Flip the other way. Dina, you know what words mean, right? Okay. There we go. So I can go ahead and take this swirl, rotate it out so it kind of matches that same vibe, then have it just go whoop. So I'm gonna go ahead, let's color overlay that to like red or something so I can remember. So that way I can make these actual curls look more similar. And I could easily just like have this go like that and go along that same kind of axis, which I think is really cool. So that's something I'll do. I can go ahead and erase all this. I don't need that. So notice I'm like already making corrections and I haven't even added weight yet, you know? I think this B could be, this ligature of the B could be lowered just a smidge. Because I find it's way easier to like keep editing your skeleton than it is to edit your lettering once you have weight added to it. So I spend like gobs of time in this phase. You have a dead Apple Mini. It's dead, but I still have it. Oh, you should recycle that. Yeah, you got an Amazon Echo on Black Friday. Why can't you have your home device yet, Apple? Your boyfriend's mom was like, you want a Google Home? I was like, nah, we have 0 Android in this house right now. Oh, I see. Oh, Dina, that's a cool idea. Like, oh, cool. Yeah, thanks, Ollie. Yeah, I almost bought, like, we did a bunch of research yesterday, and I was looking into the, what are you called? It's like the new Google something 2, Google Plate, Google Vice. It's like a 4-letter word or something. I forget what it's called. Google Plate? I don't know what it's right. But it looked really cool. Because it was like, it had all the same things that's like, you know, instead of Siri, it had like a Google helper or whatever. One thing I liked is you could take pictures. Are you ready? You can take pictures of just anything, like a building, a piece of art in a museum, and it'll tell you what that building is. And it'll tell you like more about that art piece. I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? There was like a bunch of like little cute things. And also just like megapixels, baby. I'm all about that camera usage. I need a better camera ASAP, like right now. 4-letter word. Yeah, I don't remember what it was called. Google something 2. I don't remember. All right, how's this B looking? Okay, that's better. Bloop, 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 bloop. Now, notice that like my I, my B, my E are all on the same kind of X height. My S is bigger. S is like the exception to the whole like X height rule. And also notice Met is kind of like going down. But originally when I drew this, it was all on the same baseline, all the same X height, but then it's like you have to first start out with the rules of lettering and typography, and then you break them. You should never just start breaking the rules, because I find at least it just takes like that much longer. I feel like this guy's a little bit, I just want him to be like that. There we go. I'm staring at it. Okay, so I think if I just redraw this line, I'll be good to go and start adding weight, and then we can talk about how different weight can give your script lettering a different persona. So let's go ahead. Bust out my motherfucking iPad. Your friend switched to Android for the camera. We went to Ed Sheeran, and her pics were like crazy good, but not enough to make me switch. I don't know, when you like one of the phones I was looking at had like 20 megapixels. I was like, you know how many megapixels my camera has right now? 2. It has 2 megapixels. Like, what the fuck? It's 10 times. I can't even get into it. It's nuts. Especially now that I'm like vlogging and all that stuff. Alright, delete this guy. Alright. So I'm gonna go ahead. Now, you'd be like, oh, is it wait time? No, it's not. It's not time for wait. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw it again. And you're like, are you fucking serious, Dina? Yeah, I'm serious. Okay, so this time I'm gonna rotate this mother upside down. So that way I start to look at the letters as shapes and not as, that way I stop reading it and I start just like looking at the negative space, and like you would if you were like trying to create something to design grid, if you were designing like a website or something for print. So now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna lower the opacity, I'm gonna redraw it. It's gonna be awesome. Okay. Because I'm doing this because I want my curls and my extensions and my swashes to all be like hella curly, right? And I can't really do that because your hand is gonna naturally, like what I like to call like gangster lean. Like how you draw, you're going to lean heavier on the left or the right or the top or the right, depending on just how you hold a pencil. So you can kind of make up for that by turning it upside down. So one thing I noticed was, look at the space between this line and this line and this line and this line. It gets smaller. Where this M, when it divides in the middle, it should be centered. So I went ahead and I just kind of moved it over a little bit. And that's something I didn't even see when it was turned right upside down. Right up. Right side up. Yeah, that's how you say it. I was like, that seemed wrong. Your brother just bought the X. He's got the money. Oh, okay. Yeah, we keep thinking about like maybe getting the 7 instead of the X, because obviously the X is like not great. Now, if you guys ever decide to just do mono weight lettering, then I probably recommend going upside down a few times. Going sideways, all that stuff, just because it's such a simple line. And when you have to go in and kind of like cheat it, where you're like kind of making the line less bumpy or whatever, it's just way easier if you just redraw it. So I kind of want to make this H a little bit more rounded, like this, like that. I think that would be better. Where it's still starting low, but then it kind of goes whoop. Just so it looks a little bit more voluptuous, I think is the word that I'm trying to look for. All right, we got meh. I'm gonna turn around my iPad to see. Oh, that looks cool! All right. All right, I'm excited. I'm such a weirdo. Now, if I wanted to, I could like have these letters like overlap or something, but nah. I want to be able to not decrease readability at all. So right now I'm doing these really long kind of lines. So a key, if you guys, and this is something I say all the time, but I'm just gonna keep repeating it. When you're drawing a one really long line, you don't want to do this. Don't move your wrist, okay? You want to lock your wrist and move your arm. I can already see that this eye is gangster leaning a little bit too much. That was a horrible, horrible line you just did, Dina. You have brought shame upon your family. Now, it's natural when you start to feel uncomfortable to press really hard when you're drawing. If you notice that your thumbs are starting to hurt after like maybe only like 30 minutes or so of drawing, then you know that you're pressing down too hard and it's not going to help stabilize your line. You just want to practice kind of releasing some control and just kind of gliding, especially if you're doing digital lettering like me. Just kind of glide and go a little bit slower. It will make your line way less bumpy than trying to press hard and go fast. It gives it more curvy. Yeah. Now notice that my line before was kind of like, it was wide up top and then shallow. It's kind of like an egg shape. And then when I redrew it, I could see it a little bit more. And now it's more of a consistent oval. Cool. All right, turn this motherfucker upside down again. All right. Boop. So just to show you why I just spent the time to do that. Boop. Turn it right back up. All right. So I see a few inconsistency errors, but that's fine. But like, let's just look at the difference. It's these like fucking subtle little details, guys, that make such a huge difference. So let me turn it back on. I think the only issue I have here is this V looks a little weird. Like look at the space between this E and the S, the E and the B, and then the B and the I. It's like, not good. So one way that we can kind of help visualize our kerning is we imagine that there's a pool of water in between each of our letters. And then you match up those pools of water together to see if you have some consistencies. So the only big inconsistency is really between the I and the B. So that shows me, okay, so I can go ahead and just lasso tool out the BES and then move it physically closer to the I, and that would probably be the best way to adjust it. So I'm going to kind of cut it off right here. Boop. Move this guy a little bit closer. And because I know Vibes is centered with meh, I'm also going to take this V and click it on over. Sometimes tilting my head like this. Like, you know when dogs do this to you? That's like what I do when I draw. I don't know why. Just like, boop. And I also think I want to tilt this. Let's go to skew. Skew is like the best thing in the world. Just because it's slightly off. Because this is called your axis, which is the line. Especially when you have like an italic word, or especially script that's tilted. That axis needs to be consistent. So I think it's consistent now. Cool. Alright, go ahead and piece all those bitches together. Alright, now we can add weight, I think. Yep, I was just making sure that the H and the B were on the same axis, but they are. Oh, I'm getting dizzy from like doing that. All right, so there's 8 of you watching. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I just want to quickly show you something really cool. Hey, so if you guys have not heard, please consider going to lettershop.com/shop, where right now you guys can learn a ton of different and amazing hand lettering styles for half off. So normally I sell these digital lettering books for $14, but now until Cyber Monday, everything's half off, so it's just $7. So we have Victorian mono-weight script, which is the style you see me working on right now. We have Art Deco, 70s script, sign painters, Western, circus, and black letter that are now available. So if you guys want to check those out, I think the most popular design right now is mono-weight, which is cool. This is probably the one that sold the most. So not only do I tell you what makes this style unique and how to pair this style with other type styles, but I actually show you how to draw each letter step by step. And within this particular zine or workbook, I teach you guys how to create your own hand-lettered logo. So each one of these zines also come with a drawing challenge you guys can use as a project idea to help you build up your skills as a lettering artist. And this is great for people who have never picked up a pencil before in your entire lives, or you've been kind of studying and slowly getting better at lettering for the past few years now. So definitely check it out. I'll put a link in the chat for you guys in just a second. And then also, this past week, I released a brand new product that I'm pretty excited about. It's called You Got This. It's this amazing postcard where it's about that size. It's about the size of my face. And on the back, you guys can actually write a pep talk. So on the top, it says, give a compliment, make a difference. You can go ahead and tell a friend, a loved one who could really use a little boost of confidence. Just ship it off, and this is something they can keep in their office. It's definitely not a card that you're going to want to throw away or just keep in a drawer somewhere and never look at it. You want to be able to feature it somewhere predominant. If you have a corkboard, a fridge, or if you just want to tack it onto your wall, it's a really beautiful statement piece that I think could really kind of fuel you next time you're kind of feeling a little bit down. And so we have the postcard, and then we also have a sticker. Now, I'm obsessed with this sticker just because it goes on everything. So I went ahead and I put it on my water bottle to kind of check it out. It's a die cut sticker. I've put this water bottle into the washing machine 6 times and it still hasn't come off. That's amazing. I originally got the sticker to put on my mirror, which is actually behind me. It's really pretty. It immediately can make anything that you put on it look completely customized, which is really, really cool. So like sketchbooks, your if you want to make your Mac products look cooler, it's a really nice thing just to kind of be a little bit more motivational. It's super nice. It's only $5. So end of advertisement. Just wanted you guys to check out those resources and check out the sales that we had going on, because I work really hard on these products and I make them with you guys in mind, and I hope you enjoy them. So again, the link is lettershop.com/shop. The sale ends Monday. Boop. There's the link. In the Chizat. All right. Sorry. Okay, let's add some weight. So in order to really understand styles, I think a really great resource is going to something called myfonts.com, myfonts.com. Tons of really amazing premium fonts to kind of help inspire you. It's really, really cool. I use that as inspiration a lot from my lettering books. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna change up this curl again. Oops, let's make sure we're on the right color. And switch this off to, oop. So I'm actually going to cut you off. Dude, you're gonna listen to me. I am your ruler. Okay. Just making it slightly more curly. It's a little oblong. There we go. You're looking so sexy and spicy right now, girl. Now notice, now these two swirls look a little bit more similar, which is great. That's what we want. So I keep duplicating all my layers just so I can show you the process from start to finish once we're done. All right, now we can add weight. So when we add weight to script, every line that's down should be thicker. Any line that goes up should be thin. So let's look at this M, for example, right? We'd start right about here when we're drawing it. So this goes up, thin. This line goes down, thick. This line goes up, thin. This line goes down, thick. So I would add weight like this. So I can choose for this to be pointy, or I could have it be squared like that if I wanted to. I think for now I'm going to keep it pointy just to keep things interesting. Now, because this line's at a curve, because this is going up, it gets thin. Then as it goes down, I start to add weight right about there. So when we're dealing with curls, Ready? This goes up, it goes up, it goes up. Then as it goes down, the line would go right about here. Goes up again as it goes down. Boop. So it would get thick right about here. This is a great opportunity to kind of like refigure stuff out, and then right there. So right now I'm showing you varied weight script that doesn't have a big difference between the weight of the thin and the thicks. And then I'm going to show you kind of just the visual difference when we start to add more weight and kind of how that looks. So same thing with this E. A lot of people just do this with the E. They just add weight here, which technically is incorrect. You should be also adding your weight here too. So again, like that. Boop. Now notice that there's not like any hard or fast rule, like what side of the line of the skeleton do you add weight. It's really like, I had more room on this than on the inside of the E, so I just went ahead and did it on the outside. Same thing with this H. This goes up, right, and then swirls, but this is actually a stem, so it actually should be thick. So it should go like this. And I'm actually going to use this as the center mark just because of the kerning. And then I'm going to go like, boop. And then I want this to kind of follow that same angle as the thing below it. So I'm just gonna boop as a curve. Now we're gonna smooth all this stuff out later, but just to kind of show you. Then this goes down, right? And this goes up again. Boop. This H, a lot of people start to do this. That is wrong. This is going up, 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 and then as it goes down, you could do it right there. I'm probably going to do it right about here. I'm adding a terminal, which is kind of like a ball or a weight you add to the ends of the letters, which is nice. And then right here. I find it helpful to actually like kind of redraw the line away. Like I started here, right? You can see my little dot moving, and then I start to add weight. So we went ahead, we added weight to meh. To make things easier, I'm just gonna go ahead and use the magic wand tool to click on these guys. This H is probably gonna be a little harder because I made so many edits, but that's okay. Now, when you're using the magic wand tool, don't just use the magic wand tool and fill in Photoshop. You want to go to select, modify, expand. I have it expand by about 6 pixels because by doing this, I'm not going to have this weird kind of like 1 pixel white line in between my fill and my stroke. And then you create a new layer. I am hitting G to get the paint bucket tool and then go boop. It fills it all at the same time. Just to show you that I merged the layers and then go back in and just kind of color in anything that I forgot to color. So again, sometimes people are like, okay, this is good enough, but obviously there's a ton of other edits that I can make. And also I want to make sure that my thicks are being consistent. So obviously the stroke here on this M is thicker than this part. So I think I've decided for this to actually end in a square, just so it can better match the other stroke of the M. Boop. I want this E to be a little bit thicker. I'm gonna make this guy look a little bit cooler. Let's bump up that. Where's my eraser? Wow, it like disappeared for a second. I think I'm gonna delete this and do something a little bit better. I want it to kind of curl a little bit more. There we go. There we go. Okay. This is looking a little thin. Just adding a little bit more weight. Boop. Probably should have added it on the other side, actually, to make this more rounded. There we go. Okay, so using this kind of style of varied weight script, it makes it look more elegant. It's not really screaming kind of meh or dreary, so I think I'm actually going to add a lot more weight to this. So not only do I think I want to add weight to the thicker parts, I think I actually want to add weight to the thinner parts too. So I think I'm going to add about this much weight. So I still want it to have a thin to thick ratio, but I'm going to go ahead and make that ratio a little bit smaller. Now, when you're dealing with the M, I have to make a decision. Do I want this middle part of the M to be pointy, or do I want it to be squared? Now, since everything else is squared, I think I'll make it squared too. So if I want it to be squared, I need to add weight on this side, so that way I can cap it. If I want it to be pointy, then I would have added weight up top so it would stay pointy. This guy should probably end in like a little boop, little thing. Okay, let's erase it. Sometimes you have to kind of force a curve a little bit more. So I want all the edges to kind of have like a curl. And then that way this guy can go like this maybe, and then curl up. Because it has to show a difference in weight, or else it doesn't really look like a terminal. So it's just like, for me, it's just like a lot of erasing and redrawing, as it probably should be for anyone creating something like this. Alright, I'll get back to that guy. Am I overthinking this? See, that looked fine to me. I don't know why I had to redo it a zillion times. Oh, it jumped. Having this guy kind of come out a little bit more to be more rounded. So it's just, you really notice that like when you're building up your layers in Photoshop, or whether or not you're working traditionally, you really want to make sure that you are doing it in layers. If I just went ahead and I tried to draw this weight completely intact in the beginning, this would take so much more time to refine. But because I'm doing it in stages, I'm actually being able to not only get better faster, but giving myself the opportunity to find way more mistakes early on. So I'm not like just fucking hitting my head against a wall 3 hours later, you know? I love that M better like this. More weight? Yeah. Good. I'm glad. Thank you. So when you start to add weight, especially to the thins, you can start to get a little wobbly. That's okay. You're a human being. You're going to make little mistakes. I'm going to make this a little bit of a wider terminal. Yeah. It's like a little bit more curly, a little bit more like 70 script. And if you notice that your lines are starting to get really flimsy, you're not really sure why, it's probably because your your skeleton was a little bit off. So I'm actually going to start to add weight on this side instead. That way it's more of a circle. Cool. Now because I added weight to the thins, I'm going to go back and add a little bit more weight to the thicks, just so it has a little bit bigger of a difference. Now notice that the more weight that I begin to add to this piece, the more friendly it starts to look. So I like to be able to build it up and start really kind of thin and then build it up to thick, 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 because the thicker you make it, it's going to have a whole different personality. And when I build it up from thin to thick, it's going to get way more rounded. It's going to look way more voluptuous. Because it's all based off of that original skeleton. Boop. The M's looking mighty fine. Now, one thing I will say about my iPad is sometimes I don't see all these little like white spots and stuff. So I have to kind of like look at my monitor and like remember that my monitor exists still. Okay, so now the M. Now notice that I went ahead and I focused just on the M while I was adding weight versus going ahead and just doing the entire word, because I want to make sure that the amount of weight that I'm adding looks good, right? I don't want to waste my time doing an entire word if I don't end up liking it in like 2 hours, you know what I mean? So I like to just work letter by letter. See, now since we've added weight, there's way more negative space between this part and this part than there is here. So there's nothing wrong with me taking the lasso tool and manipulating it. Hitting shift, I forgot that little spot, hit cut. Now I'm gonna go use my skew tool, edit, transform skew, and have it just kind of, that's my moving skew sound, until it looks just about even. There we go. So that looks way more even now. Go ahead and merge it back down with that rest of the words, and then extend the line. That's something that you'll see me constantly do. Just making those little refinements. This is why doing things traditionally is just like, I mean, doing things digitally is just like amazing. And I just continue the line. Boop. 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 This line's not looking very consistent. Boop. It's just all these little refinements. That's why, this is why it's like such a kick in the nads. It's like such a fucking insult when you make something like this on lettering and then you post it on Instagram and someone's like, what font is that? It's not a fucking font, man. I fucking drew it from my brain hole and it took hours. Don't just think I was like, la 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 la, I choose this font and then print. Like, no. Don't you disrespect my work like that. It's like, this is my baby. All right. So how are we feeling about the weight of the M? Do we like it? Do we like it? The more I look at this, the more I kind of want to make it mono weight, but like thick mono weight. It's a toughie though. This arm needs to be a little bit fat. You need to eat some donuts, baby girl. I think thick is where it's at. Thick is very in right now. Just in time for the holidays, so eat all the cookies you want. All the cookies. Your Etsy my Etsy shoppers are that way. Oh yeah? You love the M. Yeah, they're like, that's a nice font. You're like, no girl. Okay. Fucking made that shit with my brain. And like sometimes if I have a hard time like figuring out a skeleton of a piece, there's nothing wrong with taking a font, tracing it, doing the skeleton, deleting that font as reference, and then adding your weight and your custom swashes and stuff. That's fine. I don't even think that's cheating. It's only when you like literally just trace a font verbatim that I'm like, don't call it lettering. It's custom typography when you do that. It's not lettering. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. I love this M. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's continue the cycle. All right, so we're gonna just pretty much beef up everything a little bit. We still want there to be a difference in weight. And it might be tempting, especially if you're working in Photoshop like I am, to just hit the stroke. Like if you go to the filter, your layer filters, you just add a stroke. Don't do that. Because remember, it's just going to add an even amount of weight to all of your letters. It's not going to be able to vary the weight as much as you might like. So I highly recommend just do it by hand, bro. Just do it with your beautiful hands. Oh yeah, see, it has a life of its own now. Can you tell that I like really love what I do? It's crazy. I get like really excited about it. Which really freaks out my friends and family. They're like, you know that you're just, like, this is what they say. You know that you just draw letters, right? First of all, it's so mean. It's like, I just draw letters. Fuck you, mom. You don't know what I do for a living. You don't even know how to use Google, okay? She still uses like, she still has to write down directions. She can't even use Google Maps. So how about you just not demean what I do? Thanks so much. Like, so you I just remember like telling her the day that I like switched from being like a graphic designer to a lettering artist, and she was just like, so you just draw letters? So I will always remember that. That happened like, what, 6 years ago? Still remember it. Parents, if you have kids, be careful what you say to your kids. It'll stick. It'll stay in there forever. And then they'll blame you for the rest of your life. They'll do it. Oh, I like that E, dude. The E is giving me feels. Alright, so I'm adding weight. There's a little bit more room between the E and the stem and the bowl. So I'm gonna add the weight on the left side. So that way I don't have to lasso tool this shit. And give it more space or whatever. Hope you guys dig this, doing live streams like this. Because I like it because like it gives me an excuse to essentially talk to myself in my office. But I'm able to like really explain and drill down into my design decisions. Or when someone says, can you change that word for me? Do you know how long it takes for me to get it the way that I want? It's not a font. I know. It drives me nuts, Holly. It drives me freaking crazy in the cabeza. Don't you love when you say a Spanish word and an English word right next to each other? I love it. Spanglish is the best. I find this part so satisfying, just like little, by inch, just making it a little bit more beautiful. And again, always trying to, you know, keep in mind, always trying to draw towards yourself. Doing it like you just have to kind of eyeball it, like, okay, where should I add the weight? A little bit above, a little bit below. What are we doing? What are we doing? Sorry I was silent. How dare you, Nicole, not constantly talk to me while I'm streaming. It's fine. You had to watch an embroidery video to start my Christmas presents? Aw, you're custom embroidering fucking Christmas presents? That's adorable, Nicole. I love it. You love these people. I find love to watch processes. Oh, cool. I was sad when I stopped seeing you pop up on Twitch. Well, I'm on YouTube now, baby. You can catch me on the tube. It's just, I can't tell you how nice it is to be like, oh, I stream. Oh, what do you stream on? YouTube. They're like, I know what that is. Cool. I don't have to explain Twitch. And they're like, well, why do you want a platform that's geared towards gamers? You don't do game art. And I'm like, look, Adobe bought Twitch a few years ago. And then like just getting it. I hate it. And also, since I've been on YouTube, haven't been trolled. Huh? No one's threatened my life while I've been on YouTube. That's pretty cool. I mean, give it time, right? But like, I remember day one of streaming, someone was like, you fat cunt, I'm gonna murder your family. I was like, whoa. Just drawing letters, man. What the hell is happening on the internet right now? What? People are a little too quick to troll, I find. That whole internet ambiguity. I don't know. You know the word I'm trying to say. It's a little bit. Hey, but that's what we you can't limit people's rights to the internet, right? Just to help protect your ego. All right, so I have to extend this guy down. Which means it's gonna run into this line, which is on a, no, it's not on this, it's on the same layer, so I'm just gonna get it out of there real quick. But Holly, do you ever think about doing live streams? I haven't checked out your YouTube channel, so if you do currently do live streams, I'm sorry that I did not know that. Do you do live streams like this, where you're just like working on your different products and stuff that you sell in your Etsy store? I keep rotating my page just so that way I can continuously always draw towards myself. Oops, undo. And it's also connected, so I have to keep moving the wire. It's kind of like when you're vacuuming, then you get stuck in your wires. It's kind of like that. When you're adding weight, you really get to see like whether or not your lines make sense, whether or not they still look like as rounded as they did in the mono weight. It's really fun. I really like it. There are trolls on here too? What? No, I know. I got it. You're trying to get into lettering embroidery. What? Oh my god, Nicole. You're next level right now, girl. Dude, like knitting and all that stuff. Psh, I ain't got the patience for that. I have friends that like go to bars and just bust out their fucking knitting. They're just like, this is what they look like to me. They're just like doing the chicken dance, just like drink beer, knit. I'm like, oh, Portland. And no one thinks it's weird. That's my favorite part. No one thinks that's weird. That's how accepted it is. That's how many people do it. And just like the hippest fucking bars ever, most beautiful people you've ever seen, just like boop, doing knitting old lady style. I love it. It's great. It's changing up the game. All right, knitting isn't just for old people anymore. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. I need this on a coffee mug. Meh vibes on a coffee mug, or something else that I missed. Because I'll put it on a motherfucking coffee mug for you. I always wanted to get my own coffee mugs printed. So notice what I just did. So it was kind of, this negative space looks more oblong than a circle. So I went ahead and erased it. Now it looks more like a circle. So to get that truly curvaceous ligature that of your dreams, you must ensure that the negative space looks like a circle as well as the positive space. All right. Yeah, I've thought about it. I usually just do videos like brush letter and whatever with me on Procreate tutorials. Oh, okay. You should do more. I mean, this is how I view live streaming. Like, if you're going to be working on a project anyways, why not live stream it? Like, yeah, it might take a little extra time to draw because, you know, you're stopping to talk to people, to look at the chat and stuff, but people really appreciate, you know, a little bit of freeness in their life of process. Like you said, people love process videos, you know what I mean? And then I find that you can't really get any better audience interaction and engagement than when you live stream, because then you're, like, I'm literally hanging out with you right now. You're not, this isn't a past broadcast. I mean, unless it is for you in the future, but it's like, you can ask me anything you want. And like, it feels more like your friends hanging out in like a chat room. And I just really like that. That's why I was attracted to Twitch so much when I first started streaming. And then I kind of got slowly over the program. And also, like, I don't think I have the right personality for Twitch. People kept trying to make me act a way that wasn't me, and I just wasn't a fan. It's like the designers didn't respect me because I was too, like, you know, dirty, I guess. Like, perverted, cursed too much. And then the other people who, like, saw that in my brand and liked it, thought I was too conservative or professional. So it was like, oh, I can't make anyone happy on this platform. Okay. After I get through this holiday crazy time, I probably will. Oh yeah, I can't even imagine what you're going through right now. Here, I just realized that, like, the lighting on my iPad is, like, mad fucking low. Can I bump this mother up? Oh my god, it's, like, at 25%. Let's bust it up all the way up. Oh my god, that's so much better. It's so bright now. It's so bright. Alright, I'm almost done with this fucking one word. How long have I been streaming? I have, like, one word maybe done. Maybe. Alright, so let's back out. So you guys aren't just, like, staring at an H. So look at the difference between meh and vibes. Look at the difference between these two beautiful words. I'm not trying to do an accent. I'm just trying to see, like, what happens when I move my mouth in weird ways. Like, boop, 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 boop. Is everyone, like, sick of all of the Black Friday emails in their inbox right now? Because I'm not. I love me some sales. Sales all day. I don't even care. I want more sales all the time, every day of my life. Nicole, thanks for retweeting my tweet originally for this live stream. I really appreciate it. Do you do this just for patrons or public? I haven't decided yet. I'm still pretty new to the whole thing. What I want to do is do both. Do like a lot of public live streams and then do a few that are just for patrons. Because when you're a part of my Patreon, for $7 you get access to the digital zine. For $15 you get access to all of the video tutorials and live streams. So some of these live streams, like the live streams that are specific to the workbooks, where I actually walk you through each workbook, or if there's like a tutorial that I'm getting a lot of questions about, then that'll just be private for just patrons. But then if it's something like, oh, I'm kind of lonely, I want to hang out with a bunch of people, then I'll make it public. It just depends. Especially in the beginning, since I just started live streaming on YouTube. Probably for the next month or so, I'll have a lot of public. You don't have to pay for the content live streams. And then once I get a little more comfortable with the platform and we get a little bit more consistent viewership, then I'll probably start to private some of the videos. It's probably what I'll do. Machine embroidery. I've seen some pretty fucking beautiful lettering embroidery in my life, in my day. Alright, there's a few things in here that are like driving me nuts. Oh my god, isn't that better? And if you think I'm like anywhere near done, like you're so wrong. I don't think I'll stream the whole time, but I want to be able to get this to a spot where I'm like, cool. I don't know, and for some reason I'm kind of digging the idea of meh being like really thick and vibes kind of being thinner. I haven't decided yet though. Just gotta make sure that my fins and stuff all look the same. My Apple Pencil battery is dying. I love Apple Pencil because like it literally only needs to charge for like a few seconds and then it's charged. I'm like, this is amazing. This one piece just isn't quite as thick as the other one. It's making my eye get confused. Just tap it in, Dina. Just shh. Shh. Just tap it in. It's okay. Shh. Just change the angle of this guy. Alright, now it's thicker. But I just need to make it thin right here. Oops. That's the wrong tool. Something like this, and then it goes thick and then thin. Something like that. There we go. Maybe? I don't know. Yes? No? I don't know. Do you need to have a bigger eraser? Bro. Bro, dude. Come on. Smooth that out a little bit. Erase and draw. Boop. Like erase a little, draw a little, erase a little. I feel like erasing helps me make the lines look connected more versus trying to draw the lines in. Alright, I think I'll stop playing with it now. Are you saving your live streams for replay? Yeah. These ones. These ones I am, yeah. So if you need to peace out, feel free. But I would love if you stayed. You grabbed a second Apple Pencil with my Best Buy rewards. Best thing I ever did. 2, 1, always charged! Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, actually. Alright. How are we feeling about meh? How are we feeling about it? Do we feel good about meh? Do we feel good about meh? Something about this guy is driving me a little crazy. So this goes up and then it gets thin and then it goes down. I feel like it should be like this. Alright, upside down time. Oh, that looks weird, but I kind of like it. In a weird way. Mm. You love it? Thank you. I don't know, what do we think? Alright, type in the chat mono weight if you think vibes should be in a different weight than meh. It should just be like a refined weight of itself right now. So put mono weight, M-O-N-O weight. And put varied weight if you think it should be the same as meh. Because I'm interested to see what you think, because I don't know what to do. This is why I like live streaming, so you can help me make decisions. Because I kind of like the idea of meh being a different style than vibes, but I'm not totally sure. So for right now, I think I'm just gonna play with this E. Cut you out, mother sucker. I'm trying to curse less, it's really hard. Mother sucker! I'm just gonna like come up with really weird curse words, I think. What if this was just lower? Like that. Or do we like it in its OG placement where it's a little higher? I'm gonna keep it the way it was. I just needed to know. I needed to know. Mono weight. Mono weight. Holly votes mono weight. Mono weight. Oh, Sandra's coming in. Sandra B. Yeah. Yeah, mono. Yeah, mono. Not the bad mono, but like the good mono. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think I like it too. I think he likes it. All right, I think I'm into it. All right, so let's cut this out so it's on its own layer. Since it's gonna be a different style than meh. I like meh because when it's bolder versus, because you have to think about like why? Why does it need to be bolder? Why does it need to be thinner? Why should there be two different styles? No, yeah, I'm gonna make it thicker. Don't you worry about Nico. I got you, boo. Okay, so by having meh weighted more so than vibes kind of creates vibes is the baseline. Vibes is how you should be. When you're feeling down, you feel weighted down, right? So by making meh thicker, it actually makes more sense in terms of the psychology of type. So I agree. This is why it's like, if you're going to make a design decision, you need to like, I don't know if you need to talk to yourself, make a mind map, whatever you got to do. You have to make sure that your design decisions make sense. You can't just be like, oh, because it looks better. Because that's not a reason. Oh, Kate 2.0 AI is like, I don't know. I think it should be varied weight. I don't know. I think mono makes sense, bro. I think we're gonna go mono, but we're gonna add weight. It's gonna look pretty. Don't you worry about it. All right. So to make it bolder, I'm gonna go to a bolder brush, but I have to figure out what size brush do I want. Yeah, just a little bit bolder. All right. So I'm gonna go on top of it. I was gonna create another layer, but I think I'm gonna go on top of it. I'm gonna go really slow. Always drawing towards myself. If it gets too bumpy, don't worry about it. You can always fix that later. Make sure that little center point was rounded. Because I just want to start thin, because again, we can always make it thicker, but making it thinner is much, much harder to do. So I'm going to start kind of like with this way. And then this is one of those examples where you could use stroke to kind of help you figure out stuff. I think I'm going to lower this because now it's going to be mono weight. So we have all this negative space in here. To be like more in the center. Yeah, like that right there. That's the money. All right. Sorry. Just going really slow. I'm going faster as I'm saying go really slow. And it'll help get some of those bumps out. Just with mono weight, I think it looks better when the edges are rounded a little bit more. Like it's weighing it on top of it. Yeah, exactly. Molly gets it. Molly, I know I've said this already, but I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm so, hold on. I feel like you need to look at my face. Clearly, like my non-makeup face, Chloe. Holly, look at me. I so much appreciate you being in our mastermind group because you're kind of a big deal. I don't know if you guys know this, but Holly's a big deal. And it's so nice having another person who's more professional and a little more experienced. So we can talk about more like high level problems when trying to be a professional artist and trying to make money for yourself. So not only that, but you have such a unique perspective when it comes to like critiques and input. And it's been so helpful for the group. And I so love you so much, even though I feel like it's too soon to say that, but I do. I do. Just saying. You got a pizza out for dinner. All right, cool. Yeah, go get your eats on, Holly. She's like, you're getting a little bit too needy. I'm gonna peace out. See you later, baby girl. Nope. All right, so let's see what kind of weight we want to add to this dude bro over here. I'm gonna use outline, stroke. Obviously not that much. We're gonna get rid of some of this gobbledygook. This is actually a really good test if you guys are still working traditionally and then you scan your artwork and then you put it into Photoshop and you want to get rid of some of the gunk. A really good way to do that is get rid of the background first of your illustration, so get rid of all the white paper, and then go ahead and add a stroke. And then you'll see all these little dots and stuff filling your page, and then you know where to erase, which is really nice. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, we're almost done with the ink, guys. I'm so excited. I'm excited to get to the color part, because I'm all about color lately. It makes me feel good. All right, so let's keep... What if we made this the same weight as the thin in our varied weight? What would happen? What would we do? What would happen? I feel like this is too much. Maybe 5? Maybe 4? Maybe 3? 3. 3's the winner. I pick 3. All right, so when we're dealing with mono... So I went ahead, added a stroke. I'm going to go ahead and rasterize the layer. Wait, nope. I'm going to duplicate the layer, turn the first layer off, and then I'm going to rasterize it. I feel like anytime you make something like not editable anymore, you should always copy it because you never know what is going to happen. All right, so now that I went ahead and added weight to my varied weight, now I can go ahead and kind of get rid of some of these kinks that are in it. So it's super important to use a smaller brush size. I'm gonna make sure both my brush and my eraser tools are thin. So I can go in here and kind of smooth them out and add weight. This is when you get like super close. Just make sure everything's looking sexy. Sometimes it's nice if you just kind of go over everything a little bit, especially because like the bigger the brush size, the more repetitive the edges are gonna look. But it can kind of get dangerous because then you have to like add weight throughout the entire piece, which can make it look more inconsistent. It's just like you have to just weigh the pros and cons of like how wobbly your stuff is. And also, even though my weight is on for my brushes, so they might be a little uneven to begin with, as I was using the like adding more weight to the mono weight word. Dina, stop it. Just trying to get this one edge right. It gets thinner like right around here and I want it to stop. Just make it a little bit clearer. I need to draw towards myself. That's why I'm messing up so much. There we go. Looking sexy. Especially because this is the first letter in the word, I definitely want to make sure it's like all sexified. Looking good. I'm still going to end up putting a little bit of weight along the whole thing. It's pretty uneven. And like, it's okay if it's a little wobbly because I still want it to look handmade, you know, but my version of handmade. It needs to be the perfect amount of imperfect and perfect in order for it to look like it was done by a human. But a skilled human that knows what the fuck she's doing. And also I can like really start to see like, oh, that got a little thinner right there. There we go. I think the V's looking sexy now. Do you like how I keep using the word sexy? All these letters are sexy. Just like when the line looks like it's bending a little bit. Like right here, it could have just been smoothed out. I don't know about you, but making these like subtle little tweaks just makes my heart feel good. So once I get done kind of refining this, then we can go ahead and add color, which is going to be cool. And I'll decide whether or not I want to add any additional graphics like a drop shadow or an inline graphic or something. I think especially when you're dealing with mono weight lettering, where it's really all the same kind of thin weight, especially around bowls, you want to make sure that everything's looking pretty consistent. They're dropping like flies. I know it's a pretty long stream, but just keep in mind, like on Twitch, when you stream, it's like usually a minimum of 3 hours. But I'll probably wrap up in a little bit. Just gonna kind of perfect the mundo some of these pieces. I'm probably gonna add color and then get off stream, and then I always think it's a good idea to kind of sleep on it. Anytime you create a design, even if it only took like an hour or something to make, always sleep on it, or at least take a break and then look at it again. Because when you're staring at something, no matter for however long, you're gonna miss stuff. It's just going to happen. And then you don't want to have that moment where you like, I don't know, post it on Instagram or something, and then you notice like something's misspelled, or there's just like a glaring mistake that you just didn't see before. That's just embarrassing. Then you have to delete the post and change it. Like, you don't want to have to go through that. No one should go through that. That's happened to me at least 20 times. Minimum. It's these parts that don't look too rounded. I have to keep reminding myself to turn my iPad around. So before we peace out, if anyone's watching, is there any questions that you have? Anything that you're currently struggling with, whether it's lettering or your freelance or tech or something? I am here for you. And I might not always have time to like respond to emails and stuff and messages. But while I'm live streaming, that's really the opportunity that you guys can have to reach out and let me know if you need help with something, because this is like kind of like my office hours type of thing. Excited about this piece. I'm glad that I decided to redo it. So let's look at this. Let's just look at the difference between two letters I just did. Look at the difference between the vibe and then the S. Like, it's a subtle difference, but I still notice it. When can I draw with you next? Oh, I don't know. I don't have a schedule. Just stay tuned. You know me. Anytime I try to like create a schedule, it never pans out, because I do too many things and I just forget about it. Like this morning, I got woken up to a client because I forgot that she was dropping off this chalkboard that I'm going to be doing some really cool stuff on next week. Totally forgot. She was super nice. She like lives in Portland. She drove all the way out to Beaverton to my apartment to drop it off. She couldn't find my apartment and she was like calling me, trying to figure out where I was. Totally forgot. Was still in bed. I greeted her in my pajamas. Felt so bad. So it's like, I'm just like, I just do too much and I forget, or like life happens, or like I need to go to the grocery store, you have to run an errand or something, you know? You're curious about when my You Got This stickers and postcard will be shipping, but I can email that. Oh, that'll be shipping tomorrow. I ship everything out usually once every week or once every 2 weeks, depending on the orders. And we got quite a few orders in the past few days. So yeah, I'll be shipping that out probably tomorrow or Sunday. So you'll be getting it next week. Yeah, keep your ear to the inbox. Keep your ear to the inbox, Nico. Maybe once we get more viewers and stuff, I could try to come up with something. Just ever since I started teaching college, my schedule has been kind of all over the place. Especially because, like, I need to be there for my students that are paying, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? All right, looking sexy. Did we do the part of the B yet? I can't tell. If you can't tell, that probably means that you didn't. All right, so I just had this last stroke, and then we can add color. For color, I'm thinking yellows and blues. I was thinking of making meh blue, vibes yellow, and then maybe the background pink. It's like my favorite 3 colors right now. I have a couple color schemes that I found that I'll be kind of playing with. But I think it's same thing with color. Same thing like when you're trying to figure out what design decisions and stuff you need to make sure that the colors align with this tone of how you want people to feel when they see this. Like if I just use like really, really bright colors, it wouldn't look like sad. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but we'll get into it. I'm almost done. Just gonna get it together. All right. Looking good, looking sexy, looking hot. All right. Haha, cool. Yeah. But I always appreciate the reminders. If you ever buy anything from me and you're like, Tina, when can I get this? I have to make this smaller, which means we're gonna have to edit it again. Just because it needs a little bit more room here. Yeah, there we go. That makes me feel better. Still making changes. Did you get the sticker and the postcard? Cool. All right, let's look at color. All right, so let's go ahead, take our layers. So let's just see how far we've come during today's stream. So I've been working for about an hour and a half. I'll go ahead and duplicate this. Okay, so we started with this. So we started with this guy doing mono weight, then we went ahead and turned our work upside down and kind of rounded things out a bit, and then started to add weight from meh, and then smoothed out vibes. So I went ahead and duplicated it, so now we can play with color, just a smidge. I'm gonna go ahead and embed some of the color schemes and stuff that I found. Come on, Mr. Preview Man. No, not that one. So it stops here. So I have a couple color schemes that I liked. These are all just screenshots from Dribbble, if you're wondering. I find it's easier to just screenshot the swatches on Dribbble versus like actually placing the image and eyedropping it. Because then you base too many of your design decisions off of where they use the color in their composition versus on what's really the most appropriate for your piece. Check out these bad boys. Who's gonna be the greatest color of them all? I have one that's like all blue that I thought might be good, but I'm not sure. And I really don't need them to be too big. Just big enough for me to eyedrop pretty easily, so I'm gonna make them pretty tiny over here. Boop. Yep, 2 stickers and a postcard. Nice! For moi. All right, so let's see what we like. So originally I was thinking of making meh blue. And then vibes yellow. This is my original idea. I like kind of, I don't know, I like more of an orangey. And then to make the background pink. Something like that. No, not pink. Pink's too cheery. Maybe like a lighter blue. Normally, like, when I pull up these color palettes, I don't just pick all for the same color palette. I try to, like, check out a bunch of them. What if I did a purple? I'm, like, really into purple lately. I don't know why. This color purple especially. I don't know why. I just like it. So if I'm choosing from this color palette, yep, that's the blue I was needing. See, vibes is like the one word that can be bright and pink and stuff. That's why I was thinking yellow originally. It's too bright. Never thought of it that way. Been using Dribble for colors for a while though. Oh yeah? Yeah, me too. Anytime I ever, like, eyedrop a color, I always am like... I always play with it. I never just, like, eyedrop a color of someone else's and then, like, I'm just done with it. That's usually not the case. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead, drop all this stuff in a folder, call it color. I'm just gonna duplicate a bunch of them. Put these screenshots in one thing. Alright. Obviously these colors aren't amazing, but something about it I want to keep, so. Alright, I duplicated it. What if we do all blue? So let's say if we did a dark blue background. Well, I like the dark blue on this guy. That's pretty cool. What if I made this pink, like, brighter? Something like this one. Yeah, that guy. Make it a smidge lighter. Yeah, I like this one. This blue might be a little too dark. Yeah, let's bring this guy up a little bit. So he's a smidge lighter, so he's on the same contrast spectrum as the rest of these guys. I'm such a big fan of mono weight script. I want to do it all the time. I want it to be blue, but I want it to be like, maybe like a tealer blue? No. Blends in too much. It's fucking pink all the way. There we go. So one thing I wanted to do, I'm gonna do this on a new layer, is add a couple drippy drips. I thought would be cool. I like meh. I like the fact that there's blue in the background and there's a light blue in the foreground, because meh kind of blends in a little bit, where vibes is a little bit more bright and beautiful. So how I like to do drips, and I've showed this a few different times, is I draw straight lines. I got a color overlay. This is the same color. Boop. And I'm hitting shift as I draw them. and making sure they're just like at different sizes. And putting them in spaces where I don't think they're going to obstruct readability in any way. I usually have one that like crosses over all of them, or kind of like goes over more than one piece of the letter. Probably add another one right here. Oops. Little dude. Do a couple that are like dripping out of it. Okay, so you go ahead and you draw your straight lines, but that doesn't really look like drips, right? So what I do is you have to curve this into that. So it actually looks more like a drip. Here, let me undo that and make my brush a little bit smaller. So curve in the line. So it looks like it's pooling from the letter. And don't worry about like all your pools or whatever looking the same, because they wouldn't look the same. Typically, like the longer that the drip is, the longer the pool should be as it ties back into the line. That's usually my rule of thumb. It's got to look like it's effortlessly pooling from that. Was that all of them? Nope, forgot a few. Here in the middle. How did I get all of them? Okay, so after you go ahead and you pool it, then on a few of them, I want you to add a kind of like a bigger drip. So you add like a circle. It's slightly bigger than your line, and then you do the same thing where you kind of have it pool. There you go. And then that's how you do really nice strips. I usually don't do it to all of them, I just do it to a few. Because it can kind of look a little bit too repetitive if you do it to all of them. And also make sure that like the circles and stuff that you're adding are different sizes. Where it's kind of like a teardrop at the end. Actually gonna erase that guy. And that's how you do drips. So let's play with a few more colors before we wrap it up. So I'm actually going to delete my first color. Just duplicate the folder. Alright, What would happen if everything was blue? Not a fan. I love this purple. What can I do with you? My favorite kind of yellow is the yellow that looks almost white, probably. Something about this purple is just... It's got me. Meh looks pretty plain. I kind of like that. It looks like splooge is on it or something. It's so gross. I don't know, meh looks kind of like... Trying to make it like... It's hard. Do I make meh just like gray? Oh, that's kind of a pretty color. Maybe something like that. Maybe if I made vibes less vibrant. Like that. That definitely looks meh. Peach and khaki and whatever, that's a hardcore meh color, I think. If we had to compare it to this guy. Like, my eye likes this version better, but this I feel like is more appropriate for the tone of the piece. What if we made meh? I'm gonna duplicate it again. When in doubt, duplicate. Something about, I wanna make it maybe like a light purple. You like those? I think we're getting closer. I'm trying to match the vibrance of the vibes, but it's hard. Boop. Boopity boop. I don't know, I'm feeling kind of something like that. Like, look at the difference between that and that. It just feels more appropriate within the composition, I feel like. Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and delete it. Alright, let's just try something totally different. Totally fucking different. So let's, like, try some, like, really dreary colors. And let's just see what happens. I say dreary, then I put pink. Yeah, definitely can't have pink in the background. It's too bright. It's too beautiful. Can't do it. This was a pretty ugly... Ooh. That looks like snot. It officially looks like snot. I don't know, I kind of like that. It looks like meh vibes could easily mean like sick vibes or something like that. It's like, let's just use really like sad colors. Just the saddest. Ooh. I'm just kidding. Just really like, ooh. I don't know, I like this. This is, I think, the winner. Cause like, that, and then that. It like looks dreary, but it's still pretty. Yes, agreed. Looks like snot. I don't know, I like that it looks like snot. I kinda like it. I kinda like it that it looks like snot. Cause you need to be a fucking afraid of the meh vibes, you know what I mean? Dude, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. What if we made this like a gray? Let's just fucking make it gray and sad. Look how sad that looks. It looks so sad. That's kind of cool. I don't know, I kind of like that one the most. I want to kind of bump up this background to be a slightly more purple. Oh, yes. Get some contrast up in here. A little bit lighter. A little bit lighter. Just like a little bit. Like that. Okay. Let's make vibes slightly less saturated and darker. Yeah. It's all coming together. That's snot, though. It looks like it makes you feel like meh, doesn't it? You want to be afraid of the meh. Do not settle for the meh. Not the meth, the meh. Like when someone's like, hey, how are you? And they're like, meh. That's not a good answer. This should be socially acceptable. All right, I don't know. I'm feeling this guy. I'm kind of glad that we tried it. All right, let's look at it. Let's look at it. I mean, there's a couple like little nitpicky things I'm probably going to do. But for the most part, I think I'm happy. Where's meh? Look at all the splooge by itself. All right, one thing I'm thinking about doing is adding an inline. I feel, yeah, you feel the sickness coming on. I felt the sickness coming on for like a while now. So what would happen if I added an inline in here? So I'm gonna show you my cheat for inline. So an inline like line is you want to put it perfectly centered within the thickest parts of your letter, but sometimes that can be kind of hard to find. So a kind of trick is you do a stroke and you put it on the inside, right? You put it thick, 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 and then it literally shows you, where to put your inline, which is cool. So I'm gonna try, let's see, first can I do it with this one? Yeah. So make my brush size smaller. I'm thinking about something like this. Hopefully none of my inlines touch my splooge. It's a professional term, splooge. If you glance at meh, I see meth. It sounds like meth when you say like meh enough times. It just like, when you stare at a word for so long, it like completely loses all of its meaning. But yeah, this is my cheat. How you can like perfectly draw your inlines. People are always like, how do you get it so even? It's like, I cheat. That's how. And also when you add these kinds of inlines, it'll really show you whether or not you have inconsistencies in your lettering, like whether or not the weight is inconsistent or not. Whoa, what the fuck face? Dude. What? Oh, I think my computer's overheating. See, look what it's doing. What is that? It's like adding stuff to it. Come on, I just wanted to do this one letter. Come on, let me. God damn it! It keeps glitching. Alright, cool, I don't need you. Alright. So I just wanted to kind of like test it to see if I liked it. So I can do that by filling these little pots. It always happens once I've been like on for too long. Do we like this? Do we like the inline? Do you think you would add that a little extra something special? Or is it overkill? Because we could even, like this, there's no rule saying like that needs to be like purple. Like we can bring in the pink. But then it makes meh look cooler. Whoa, what did I just do? Cancel. What? Oh, they're two different layers. I was like, why is it not working? There's not enough contrast. It'd have to be purple. I don't know. I wish I could finish the rest of the letter so I could tell if it looked good or not. I was hoping just to at least get the letter done. I don't know. I kind of like it. I think I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to keep it. I don't know. This is just like a little bit, it's a little bit too simple for my taste, so I think I'll do something like this. But it's obvious that my computer needs a rest, so I think that's an excellent time to wrap up our stream. Oh! Maybe it's something to do with, like, we hit the exact 2-hour mark. Maybe that has something to do with it. Not really totally sure. Super weird. Alright guys, thanks so much for hanging out during today's live stream. For those of you who stuck around during the entire stream, wow, you're amazing. And thank you so much for letting me into your computer screen. That's super gracious of you. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Not only do I do live streams all the time, but I also create a blog every single week that just shows you what it's like in my life being a full-time illustrator and the lessons learned throughout that week. My next video will be posting next week. I kind of took a week off for Thanksgiving, and we'll do the same for Christmas when I am going on my vacation. But I have some pretty cool streams planned. One, I think the next vlog, we're going to do an office tour of how I recreated and organized my office on the cheap. And then we're going to do another one that's going to be how to add more SEO strategy into your website, so that way people can find you organically just through Google versus having to know someone that knows you or finding you on Instagram, which can be a lot harder. But with just a couple different strategies, you could easily be on the first page of Google with your keyword. My keyword, for example, is hand lettering artist in Portland, Oregon. I dare you, type it into Google. I'll be the first result on the first page that's not an advertisement. And that's pretty cool. And I want to be able to show you how to do all that stuff and more. So thanks guys for tuning in to my stream. Super nice of you to do that for me. I really like it and stuff. You're really cool. Thanks, 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 thanks. Bye guys.